Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ronnie George and I am a registered Indian patent agent. The topic that I am going to cover today is patent forms required for filing patent application in India. So basically in today's topic we will cover about those forms that an applicant needs to submit at the Indian Patent Office when they are filing a patent application in India. And in today's topic we will specifically cover about the forms which are submitted while filing an ordinary application in India. We are not going to cover about the PCT application or the convention application in India. Okay, so let's start with the video. Okay, so we all know that filing a patent application is the first step in protecting an invention. Now, whenever you have an invention and you are planning to protect that invention, the first step you will do is file a patent application in India at the Indian Patent Office. Well, if you are a resident of India and residing in India. Now, once you file a patent application in India, there are a set of forms that also needs to be submitted along with your patent application. And these forms are defined by the Indian Patent Office, and it is mandatory for you to submit this, without which your application will not be considered. And basically that is what we are going to cover in today's video. Now these forms can be either submitted online. So we have an Indian Patent Office e-filing portal. So you can either submit all these forms online through the portal, or you can go to the physical office uh, of the Indian Patent Office based on wherever you are residing. So India has a patent office at specific jurisdictions like in Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, and Delhi. And if you are, residing in any of these states, well, you can directly go and file the patent application in that respective patent office. But let's say if you are residing in some other state, then you will fall under a specific patent office jurisdiction, and you can accordingly go and file your patent application in that patent office. Okay, so let's check out the forms that are required to be submitted along with the patent application. Now the forms can be divided into two categories. First is the mandatory forms, which everyone has to file no matter what. The second one is the condition based forms, which you have to file only if you are falling under a specific condition or specific category. So I'll explain the condition based forms later in this video. First, let's see what are the mandatory forms which an applicant needs to file. So the first form is Form 1, which is known as Application for Grant of Patent. Now this form includes details like the title of the invention and the details of the applicant. So if in case there are more than one applicant, then the details of all the applicants. What are their names? Now the applicant can be an individual, maybe a startup, or even a large company like an MNC, or even an educational institution. So it will cover the details of the names of the applicant and the address details of the applicant. Then the form 1 also required details of the inventors. So it may be a possibility that the inventor might not be the applicant. For example, an inventor might be an individual working in a company, and the applicant may be that company who employs that specific individual or that employee who is the inventor of this invention. So in that case, the details of the inventors as well, like the name of all the inventors and the address details of the inventors. Apart from that, there are also details required, like the number of pages of the applications, the specification that you are giving along with the patent application, and the drawings, number of drawings that you are submitting. If you are also providing claims, then what are the number of claims and how many pages are the claims covered in. So these kinds of details are all to be entered in the Form 1. Now let's see the other form, which is the Form 2, also known as Provisional or Complete Specification. Now this form basically covers the technical details of your invention. Now it can be either a provisional application or complete application, right? So based on at which stage your invention is, you can go for either provisional application or you can go for a complete application. And accordingly, this form will cover details like the field of the invention, the background of the invention, the brief description, the summary, the detailed description, abstract claims. These specific sections I have also covered in another video of mine, which I will either put the link somewhere around in this video or maybe in the description. So you can refer that video also if you want to see what will come under Form 2. And this is again a mandatory form which one has to file at the Indian Patent Office when they are filing a patent application. The next form is statement and undertaking under Section 8. So this is basically a form which includes details of the foreign applications for the same or substantially similar invention. Now what that means is, let's say you filed a patent application in India and then you are planning to file a patent application, or you have filed a patent application for that same invention in maybe US or China or Japan. So it is a mandatory requirement by the Indian Patent Office that you provide the details of these applications, these foreign applications, to the Indian Patent Office, and you have to do that. So if you are filing first time in India, then obviously you will not have any such foreign application details. So you can simply just mention in the form that there are no as such details of any foreign application because you have not filed. But whenever you are filing that, you have to make sure that you submit the details of that specific application with the Indian Patent Office. Now, earlier there was a time limit of 6 months to do that. Now, there has been some amendment brought in the latest 2023 patent amendment rules, which even I am not so sure of. I think it has been reduced to 2 months or so. So that needs to be taken care, and accordingly within that specific timeline, the applicant has to make sure that they share the details of the foreign applications if they have filed with the Indian Patent Office. And for that you will use Form 3. The next form is Form 5, which is declaration as to inventorship. Now this form is required when the applicant is different from the inventor. So just as I gave the example of an employee who is working in a company, if the employee is the inventor and the applicant is the company, then the company has to make sure that it declares who are the inventors of the specific invention for which they are filing a patent application, and that has to be put in the Form 5. So the Form 5 will include the details of all the inventors, and it has to be submitted at the Indian Patent Office. And then there is proof of right. So proof of right, it's not a different form. So for proof of right is, you will use the same Form 1, and there is a specific section in the Form 1 which is the 12.1 paragraph. There you will include the details of all the inventors and they have to sign, and then that form has to be filed at the Indian Patent Office. So basically the meaning of proof of right is that the inventors have given the rights to the applicant to file the patent application, and it has the ownership of the patent application. The applicant possesses the ownership of the patent application and has the rights to file the application for that specific invention. So Form 1 proof of right is very important and has to be filed within a maximum period of 6 months from the date of filing the application. So these were the mandatory forms which one has to file. Okay. Although not exactly along with the application, there are certain timelines. As I said, Form 3 has a timeline. Form 1 proof of right has a specific timeline. But then within that timeline, you have to make sure that you file this patent application. Then the next is the condition-based forms. So condition-based forms is something which you have to file only if you are falling under that specific condition. So let's see what are those conditions. Okay, so the first form is Form 26, power of attorney, if filed through a patent agent. Now, you can file a patent application directly also by going to the patent office or through the Indian Patent Office e-filing portal. Or the second option is you can get the application filed through a patent agent or a patent attorney, and they will, file the patent application on your behalf, and they will do all the activities on your behalf. If you ask me, I would always recommend uh, you to get a patent agent or a patent attorney, because patent office has a lot of rules and formats and formalities defined, which an inventor or an applicant who is not from the patent background, they do not have the knowledge about it. So in a lot of cases, what happens is they file the patent application themselves based on whatever knowledge they have, and at a later stage they come to know that there were a lot of rules which had to be followed but they did not follow, and the application gets rejected. So it is always recommended to hire a patent agent or a patent attorney and ask them to file the patent application, and they will do it. And since they are aware about all the rules of the patent office, they can file a patent application in a more correct manner, and which increases the chances of getting a grant for your invention as well. So form 26 is required when you are hiring a patent agent or a patent attorney, and form 26 basically gives the authorization from the applicant to the patent agent to do all the formalities and receive the communication from the patent office and do whatever necessary to get the patent granted. Okay, so that is form 26, which is one of the condition based form. The second condition based form is form 28. Now form 28 is a form which is submitted by startups, small entities, which is small business, and in education institutions. Now, why Form 28 is there is because the patent office has provided a lot of advantages to startups, small businesses, and educational institutions. One of the biggest advantage is in terms of the cost. The cost for filing patent application for these entities is much lesser compared to an MNC or a large entity or large corporation. So if you fall under this category, then obviously you can take the advantages what the patent office has provided, and for that you have to prove it to the patent office that you fall under this category. And how you will do that is you will file a form 28, and along with that you will submit a proof. So if you are a small entity, small company, then you might be having a proof, right, from maybe DIPP or from some other corporation, which shows that okay, you fall under the category of a small business or maybe a startup or an education institution, and that is something you have to submit along with the uh, form 28, and accordingly you can avail the benefits provided by the patent office to these entities. So these are the condition based forms which you have to submit if you are falling under this condition. If you are not falling under this condition, you can simply file the mandatory forms, and that will be enough. So that was it in this video. This was a short video covering the required forms for filing patent application in India. I will also show you the forms. Now these forms which I mentioned can be found in the Indian Patent Office website, which is ipindia.gov.in. And if you want to see the forms, I will cover all the forms in the next video. So you can have a much more understanding about how to get the forms and how to prepare the patent application. So thank you. We'll meet again in the next video.